Ever wonder how Christianity and Judaism, two faiths with so much shared history, ended up on such different paths?
It's a question that takes us back centuries, really to the heart of the Roman Empire.
Right, a time and place that seems so far removed from us today, but
Yeah, but the echoes of this split can be felt even now.
absolutely. And to delve into this pivotal moment, we're turning to a clip from the Mystery Stories and Theory Conspiracy podcast. They did a deep dive into the split, and, well, let's just say it's a story full of twists and turns.
It goes way beyond simple religious doctrine. It touches on power struggles, political upheaval, and the very essence of how these two faiths came to define themselves.
So let's rewind the clock about 2,000 years to the Roman Empire. Can you set the scene for us? What was it like back then?
Imagine a world where the Roman Empire is this dominating force, a melting pot of cultures and beliefs. But within that mix, you have these Jewish communities grappling with Roman rule, trying to hold on to their traditions.
And that's where the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth come in, right?
Exactly. It's within this already complex landscape that Jesus' message begins to spread.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. These early followers of Jesus, they didn't see themselves as separate from Judaism, did they?
Not at all. In fact, they saw themselves very much as Jewish, practicing their faith, but interpreting Scripture through the teachings of Jesus.
So then where did the split begin? I mean, what caused this shift from a sect within Judaism to a distinct faith?
Well, it was a gradual process. Think of it less like a sudden break and more like a slow drift. One of the key points of divergence was around the concept of the Messiah.
The Messiah, the one prophesied to come and liberate the Jewish people, right?
Precisely. Many Jewish groups at the time anticipated a future Messiah, a powerful figure who would usher in a new era.
But the Christians believed that Jesus was that Messiah.
That's the crux of it. For Christians, Jesus was the fulfillment of those prophecies, the Messiah who had already come. This difference in belief created a significant divide.
So it sounds like this theological debate about the Messiah was a major catalyst.
Absolutely. But remember, we're talking about a time of immense political unrest. The Roman Empire was a dominating force, and there were uprisings, rebellions.
Right, the Jewish-Roman wars, those were brutal conflicts that left a lasting impact on both communities.
Exactly. Those wars forced both groups to define themselves more distinctly. It became a matter of survival, of figuring out who they were amidst this chaos.
So it wasn't just about theological differences, but also about navigating this very turbulent political reality.
Precisely. And to survive, both groups had to adapt. They had to find ways to distinguish themselves both from each other and from the dominant Roman culture.
And that adaptation, it wasn't just in their beliefs, but also in their practices.
You got it. Early Christians, for instance, really embraced the teachings of Paul the Apostle, who, advocated for spreading the message beyond Jewish communities.
So appealing to a wider audience, a more universal approach, that would certainly set them apart.
Right. And then there were practical matters like dietary restrictions. Jewish communities adhered to Mosaic law, things like kosher dietary practices.
Which some early Christians began to relax.
Exactly. Those kinds of changes, seemingly small on the surface, further widened the gap. They became markers of separate identities.
It really makes you think about how even subtle shifts in practice, when combined with these larger political pressures, can lead to such monumental changes.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember this wasn't a clean break. There were different sects within both Judaism and early Christianity.
Right. Different interpretations, different ways of practicing, different ways of understanding. It makes this whole split even more intricate.
Exactly. It's a process. And by the end of the 1st century CE, Christianity had emerged as a distinct faith with its own scriptures, its own leadership.
And that brings us to the present day, a world still grappling with the echoes of this ancient split. It really highlights how interconnected religion and politics can be, how they shape not only beliefs, but the course of history.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
It makes you wonder, what other historical turning points exist where faith and power have collided with such lasting consequences? Food for thought as we wrap up our deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.